Alright, glad to see you. Today we will continue in First Maccabees chapter 3. Yeah, I can. Chapter 3 in the book of First Maccabees. But first, of course, we want to say Shalom to the 1/3 of Israel, which are the hopeful elect 144k. To you, I say Shalom, okay, and also to the multitude, which is the children and women of these 144 men, 144,000 men, I mean. Yeah, you know, so basically Shalom to you. So let's start. Okay, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakodash, of course. You see. Because this will be, of course, a lesson that goes over a couple of videos, because we're still in chapter 3 right now, okay? And, you know, we wanna talk on the points that we hear. Then his son Judas, called Maccabeus, was up in his stead, and all his brethren helped him, and so did all they that held with his father, and they fought with cheerfulness the battle of Israel. So he gat his people great honor, and put on a breastplate as a giant, and girt his warlike harness about him, and he made battles, protecting the host with his sword. In his acts he was like a lion, and like a lion's whelp warming for his prey. For he pursued the wicked, and sought them out, and burnt up those vexed his people. Wherefore the wicked shrunk of fear, for fear of him, and all the workers of iniquity were troubled, because salvation prospered in his hand. He grieved also many kings, and made Jacob glad with his axe, and his memorial is blessed forever. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, the so-called white man being Satan, with his woman right along. Not saying that everybody of these people, but the elite and the you know, the most people that you see are actually heathen, of course. 144k is a really small number, okay. Verse 5, for he pursued the wicked, and sought them out, and burnt up those vexed his people. Wherefore the wicked shrunk for fear of him, and all the workers of iniquity were troubled, because salvation prospered in his hand. He grieved also many kings, and made Jacob glad with his axe, and his memorial is blessed forever. Moreover, he went through the cities of Judah, destroying the ungodly out of them, and turning away wrath from Israel, so that he was known unto the utmost part of the earth, and he received unto him such as were ready to perish. Then Apollonius gathered the Gentiles together, and a great host of Samaria, to fight against Israel. Which thing when Judas perceived, he went forward to meet him, and so he smote him and slew him. Many also fell down slain, but the rest fled. Wherefore Judas took their spoils, and Apollonius' sword also, and therewith he fought all his life long. And when Sihon, a prince of the army of Syria, heard say that Judas had gathered unto him a multitude and company of the faithful to go out with him to war, he said, I will get me a name and honor in the kingdom. For I will go fight with Judas and them that are with him, who despise the king's commandment. So he made him ready to go up, and there went with him a mighty host of the ungodly to help him, and to be avenged of the children of Israel. And when he came near to the going up of Bet-horon, Judas went forth to meet him with a small company. Who, when they saw the host coming to be able, being so few to fight against so great a multitude and so strong, seeing we ready to faint with fasting all this day, unto whom Judas answered, it is no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hands of a few, and with the God of heaven it's all one to deliver a great multitude or small company. For the victory of battle standeth not in the multitude of an host, but strength cometh from heaven. They come against us in much pride and iniquity to destroy us, and our wives and children, and to spoil us. But we fight for our lives and our laws. Wherefore the Lord himself will overthrow them before our face, and as for you, be ye not afraid of them. Now, as soon as he had left off speaking, he leaped suddenly upon them, and so Saron and his host was overthrown before him. And they pursued them from the going down of Bet-horon unto the plain, where were slain about 800 men of them, and the residue fled into the land of the Philistines. Then began the fear of Judas and his brethren, and exceeding great dread, to fall upon the nations round about him, insomuch as his fame came unto the king, and all nations talked of the battles of Judas. Now when King Antiochus heard these things, he was full of indignation. Wherefore he sent and gathered together all the forces of his realm, even a very strong army. He opened also his treasure, and gave his soldiers pay for a year, commanding them to be ready whensoever he should need them. Nevertheless, when he saw that the money of his treasures failed, and that the tributes in the country were small because of the dissension and plague which he had brought upon the land, and taking away the laws which had been of all time, he feared that he should not be able to bear the charges any longer, nor to have such gifts to give so liberally as he did before, for he had abounded above the kings that were before him. Wherefore, being greatly perplexed in his mind, he determined to go into Persia, there to take tributes of the countries, and to gather much money. So he left Lysias, a nobleman, and one of the blood royal, to oversee the affairs of the king from the river Euphrates unto the borders of Egypt, and to bring up his son Antiochus until he came again. Moreover, he delivered unto him the half of his forces and the elephants, and gave him charge of all things that he would have done, as also concerning them that dwelt in Judah and Jerusalem, to wit, that he should send an army against him to destroy and root out the strength of Israel and Yashoal, and the remnant of Jerusalem, and to take away the memorial from that place, and that he should place strangers in all their quarters, and divide their land by lot. So the king took the half of the forces, that remnant, and remained, and departed from Antioch. His royal city, the 147th year, and having passed the river Euphrates, he went to the high countries. Then Lysias chose Ptolemy the son of Dorymenes, and Nicanor, and Gorgias, mighty men of the king's friends, and with them he sent 40,000 footmen and 7,000 horsemen to go into the land of Judah and to destroy it, as the king commanded. So they went forth with all their power, and came and pitched by Emmaus in the plain country. And the merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold, very much with servants and came into the camp to buy the children of Israel for slaves. A power also of Syria and of the land of the Philistines joined themselves unto them. Now when Judas and his brethren saw that miseries were multiplied and that the forces did encamp themselves in their borders, for they knew how the king had given commandment to destroy the people and utterly abolish them, they said one to another, let us restore the decayed estate of our people, and let us fight for our people and the sanctuary. Then was the congregation gathered together that they might be ready for battle, and that they might pray and ask mercy and compassion. Now Jerusalem laid void as a wilderness, or lay void as in wilderness. There was none of her children that went in or out. The sanctuary also was trodden down, and aliens kept the stronghold. The heathen had their habitation in the place, or in that place, and joy was taken from Jacob, and the pipe with the harp ceased. Wherefore the Israelites assembled themselves together and came to Mashpah over against Jerusalem, for in Mashpah was the place where they prayed aforetime in Israel. Then they fasted that day and put on sackcloth. Okay, another sign for wearing sackcloth, or for, if you regret something, or if you just regret the moment. In general, okay, is shaving your beard, which we are not allowed to do anyway by the law. Okay, you are allowed to cut your beard until there's at least 1 millimeter and things like that. Okay, or 2 millimeters, depends on. Okay. But to shave your beard with that razor thing, is not allowed, man. Okay. Because razor's knife, you read in the Bible about a razor's knife, and that's basically like a sharp instrument to go directly under your skin. Okay, it's not just. It doesn't just go. Of course, it matters also how much you press on the skin while you cutting with the knife or with the blade. But actually the blade is a sort of instrument, okay, where you go on the skin, and by pressing, okay, you even cut under the root of the hair, okay, not the root, but on the surface, on the skin, and a little bit under that, okay, so it's not just the surface, like the machine, if you cut 0 millimeters or whatever with the machine, okay, you cut on the skin. But if you cut with a knife, you directly cut actually a little bit beneath or under the surface, okay, which you can't see, because if you look at it, you see that it's clearly or obviously a different cut than with a machine. Doesn't matter what machine you have. There are certain machines, okay, that I believe do the same, okay, but most or common machines that you see are not able to go that deep under the skin, cutting your hair. That's why the Bible says razor's knife. Just typed it in, razor's knife, King James Version, and you will see some verses talking about a razor's or a barber's knife, if you will. Okay, which is the same knife that sometimes a hairdresser is using with on your skin. Okay. So basically, if you cut your beard, that's a sign of mourning, okay? That's a sign of mourning, of great dishonor, and of great shame, you see? So all these people walking around with shaved beards and stuff, it's just a sign that they are worshipping death, worshipping basically, yeah, death. You see, they have no, really they don't want to be honored. Okay, that's why they don't keep the law. That's the only reason. So let's continue. You see, our people here, that's why these lines are so important. Our people here fought for honor, okay? For not just them, but their people, okay? But of course, first for them, okay? And then for their people. Jake, like I said, that doesn't even keep the law. He don't fight for himself to survive, and he doesn't fight for his own nation. So really he does nothing in his life than living, a mess. And he even shows you that by shaving his beard, like he is in a shame and unhonored situation, okay? Maybe he does it for his own death already. We don't know. But just that you know, these things are in the Bible, right? Verse 39, and with them he sent 40,000 footmen and 7,000 horsemen to go into the land of Judah and to destroy it, and or as the king's command was, basically. So they went forth with all their power and came and pitched by Emmaus in the plain country. Okay, I just look real quick if I find that not in the Apocrypha. Most Apocrypha don't have maps, okay, but they got an important text. Okay, this is also what I wanted to say. The Apocrypha is something, okay. Also, this is from the Cambridge University Press. Okay, the Cambridge University is not just by coincidence one of the best universities out there, and of course GMS, the Great Millstone, we using the Apocrypha just like the classes there do. Okay, the difference is that we have the truth and they not. But anyway, we both use, of course, the best text variants, and one of these text papers what you need to have is the Apocrypha. And I will look if I find that. Emos, okay. I guess not, but maybe it is on the map, but it's not marked with a name. Okay, or it's a different timeline or anything in that sort. Here is Syria. Yeah, basically hard to find, but yeah. So I read it again, verse 40. So they went forth with all their power and came and pitched by Enmos in the plain country. And the merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold very much with servants and came into the camp to buy the children of Israel for slaves. A power also of Syria and of the land of the Philistines joined themselves unto them. Now when Judas and his brethren saw that miseries were multiplied and that the forces did encamp themselves in the borders, for they knew how the king had given commandment to destroy the people and utterly abolish them. Okay, and the Philistines are Hamites, man. Okay, even today you have certain situations where you believe that the heathens working together like they did past them. You see this white core and this black core? Okay, this is the Hamites and this other heathens working together. Okay, the Hamites being darker than the Israelites, and the white core is the heathens themselves. Okay, because we were different shades of brown, but the Hamites basically were dark brown. Okay, black and white are not colors that humans can have, of course. Okay, and I don't talk that nonsense, but people do. But these Hamites, these Philistines, okay, these were one of the main rival nations of Israel, man. You read a lot about the Philistines, man, being that ultimate Hamite tribe. You see, and the ultimate Hamites that were bigger than us, oftentimes. Okay, things like that. Okay, the same people what you see on a cow's ass. Okay, sucking. Sucking actually stuff that comes out of a cow's back, man. Okay, I don't know what they did there, but yeah, you have videos, you know, where you can watch the Hamites doing that. Even today, still, man. Okay, you have these Hamites doing these things. Okay, so you have the Hamites and the EDOMs, okay, the Edo METES, okay, the Edo METES, the Edo MITES, okay, the nation of Edom. And Hamites being a perfect team, man. Okay, the Hamites being basically cave monkeys. Okay, but a dark-skinned cave monkeys nation. Okay, and you have the nation of Edom. Okay, which ESAU. I mean, ESAU. Is Edom, okay, ESAU is Edom, okay, so, okay, is Edom, and these are the worst cave monkeys, of course, but the Hamites and them together are too perfect, you know, it's basically a perfect match, because the Hamites are not so different. They're not the wicked, okay, they're not directly basically the seed of Satan implanted on earth, but you better believe that they are some sort of different kind of wicked and cave monkey like, you see. Okay, think about Shem, okay, and his brothers, okay. So you know where the Hamites come from. But let's be honest, man. if you watch the what these Germans, okay, which is Themen, okay, or other Edom countries and continents, if you watch what they eating and drinking, it's really not better. It's really not better. See all this pig and what they're eating, okay? There's not just for coincidence, I believe 3 times. At least it's 2 times, but I believe 3 times in the Bible you can read about Yahweh Bashem Yahushai destroying people that eat swine's flesh, pig or pork, how you want to say, okay, and other abominable things, I mean, why you want to do that? You see? Do you want to poison yourself, or what? What is it? See? You want to harm yourself? You want to harm yourself? Yahweh will help you, man. Yahweh will help you. Let him do that for you, man. Anyway. Verse 42. Or let's read it again real quick. 41. And the merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold very much with servants, and came into the camp to buy the children of Israel for slaves. A power also of Syria and of the land of the Philistines joined themselves unto them. Now when Judas and his brethren saw that miseries were multiplied, and that that the forces did encamp themselves in their borders, for they knew how the king had given commandment to destroy the people and utterly abolish them. They said one to another, let us restore the decayed estate of our people, and let us fight for our people and the sanctuary. Then was the congregation gathered together, that they might be ready for battle, and that they might pray and ask mercy and compassion. Now Jerusalem lay void as a wilderness. There was none of her children that went in or out. The sanctuary also was trodden down, and aliens kept the stronghold. The heathen had their habitation in that place. And joy was taken from Jacob, and the pipe with the harp ceased. Wherefore the Israelites assembled themselves together and came to Mashpah, over against Jerusalem, for in Mashpah was the place where they prayed aforetime in Israel. Then they fasted a day, and put on sackcloth, and cast ashes upon their heads, and rent their clothes, and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. You see? So that is also a verse that we sometimes put out when we do videos and lessons, or oftentimes, because it's a very important verse, you see. So this was already the time where, of course it was already the time, they did it before that time also, but especially in these times they put all these, in the Renaissance, and here in this time and different times where you have Israel basically being destroyed, okay. Just look that, just watch how they put the whole book of the Apocrypha out of the Bible. Do you really believe that this is for no reason? Okay. Anyway. This was also a time, man, where they had to do something about all these pictures and all these remnants of us being presented as God's children and being great prophets, being great godly men, okay, fighters and soldiers, okay. So what you do with all these remnants, if sometimes you can't just burn them, or you can't put all somewhere where nobody sees it, okay, you just overpaint it, okay, because it's easier. Because guess what, man, people will ask, hey, what's with this ancient kingdom, what's with this ancient things and all these remnants and things like that. But if you put a lie directly before the face, if you overpaint all that stuff until it looks like you, the so-called white man, was all that great man, you see, all the children of God, you know, Israel fighting for the laws, for their place, for their people, okay? If you overpaint every picture and whatever is left, okay, so it's looking like you, guess what? People will no longer ask about these Israelites because they think you will be that nation, okay? And you are here. So it has to be you now, okay? So if you ask about that nation here, which is the real Israel, which is still here today, the 144 elect only, hopefully elect. There are elect and there are hopeful elect, which is hopefully the elect. Okay, remnants from these real people, but you see, back then you was thinking like, oh, we have these people here. We don't need to study all that, you know, because these people are right before our own eyes. We don't have to read the Bible. We just have to go to the government where this man is established, or these people are established, and there we can hear the law, okay, and understand the things of the law. Okay, then came these different text variants, okay, these different translations of the Hebrew text and things like that. You better believe in that time where we was reading right now, you still had some original text, at least more than it is today, okay, maybe even whole books being still there and things like, you know, really beautiful, of course, but you better believe, man, some things they overpainted and the rest they just burned it and you know, reduced the number of basically proof for our existence and for our glory what we had. Okay, even if you can read much things about what we experienced or what we was glorifying, okay, because our wars that we was winning and things like that. There's so much that Israel has experienced until that day where we live in here right now, okay, that you can't put it in a book. Alone, or Yahushai's works alone are too much to write it in a book, okay? There's not enough space here to write all his works in a book, you see? Because his works are there for the future and for everything that was created, okay? Through him, by him, was everything created, you see? So this goes way too far, man, for these people to understand, okay? That we are the most highest chosen people, man, that is not a joke, okay? Where you can say like, oh, that doesn't matter so much. Oh, that matters the most, okay? That matters the most in your life. Okay, your salvation. Which salvation is only for Israel, because other people really don't have nothing to be saved from. You see, they received all the benefits, okay? You see, like the Bible tells us, man, received benefits in their life because not knowing Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. It doesn't mean that it is something good to not know Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, but it just says that, you know, there are different kind of things that you may have to leave for this truth, okay? And if you say like, oh, I give you an example, even when it's hard, but I try it at least. For example, there's a job where you have to eat pork. Okay, I just say it like that. You have to eat swine. Okay, if you wouldn't eat it, the boss or the woman boss would, or the woman chief in that store would quit your job. Okay, and you have to find a new one. Even when the social system is keeping you in the situation where you don't have to worry a lot, because you will find even a better job in a few months or even a few weeks. Or let me say it like that, a few weeks, but it can go a few months also, depends. But you say, oh, I rather eat that pork once, even when I'm keeping the law and things like that. But really, sometimes people don't understand that there have to be necessary steps in your life to get to the point where you can say, I try my best to be in the truth. And you can't be in the truth if you don't take these necessary steps. And necessary steps are, in some cases, for example, that. Okay. So that is one example, okay? And like I said, these are necessary steps, okay? You can't eat pork just because it had to do with your job and you would be fired if you don't do that, okay? Your job is not that important because you will find a new one that you eat pork for it. That's not no, okay? That's not something that you can say, oh, I had to do it or something because I would lose my job. Or no, that goes too far, you see. That goes too far. Verse 46, wherefore the Israelites assembled themselves together and came to Mashpah over against Israel, or Jerusalem, for in Mashpah was the place where they prayed aforetime in Israel. Then they fasted that day and put on sackcloth and cast ashes upon their heads and rent their clothes, and laid open the book of the law wherein the heathen had sewn to paint the likeness of the images. You see, they brought also the priests' garments and the first fruits and the tithes and the Nazirites they stirred up, who had accomplished their days. Then cried they with a loud voice toward heaven, saying, What shall we do with these, and whither shall we carry them away? For thy sanctuary is trodden down and profaned, and thy priests are in heaviness and brought low. And lo, the heathen are assembled together against us to destroy us. What things they imagine against us thou knowest. How shall we be able to stand against them, except thou, O God, be our help? Then sounded they with trumpets and cried with a loud voice. And after this, Judas ordained captains over the people, even captains over thousands and over hundreds and over fifties and over tens. But as for such as were building houses, or had betrothed wives, or were planting vineyards, or were fearful, those he commanded that they should return every man to his own house according to the law. So the camp removed and pitched upon the south side of Amos. And Judah said, Arm yourselves and be valiant men, and see that ye be in readiness against the morning. that they may fight with these nations that are assembled together against us to destroy us and our sanctuary. For it is better for us to die in battle than to behold the calamities of our people and our sanctuary. Nevertheless, as the will of God is in heaven, so let him do. Can't, you see. Because sometimes certain things in your life are not as planned, but it's Yahweh's will, just like Yahushua said it in his last really important prayer. Okay, some things are there to show you something. Okay, some things are there to show you something. Okay, so hopefully you received something out of that lesson. Okay, to the will and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Wakakodash. Okay, Borakatam, all the listeners, the multitude, okay, women and children, that will be delivered through the hopeful elect 144,000. Let them not be ashamed, okay, for saying the truth, for believing in the man who has the truth, okay. And Baba Kashai, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, okay, please curse the ones who are shameful, okay, for the truth, who are not gathering with the gospel, the people, to the truth of the Bible, not the half of it, or the human-made part of it. Okay. I really hope you understand that we do this not because we want to, be proud over other people. We want to be, no. The reason why we do these videos and lessons is to receive salvation in the end. Okay, to receive salvation when all this, what you read in the Bible, the prophecies, okay, about famine, okay, not just the famine of the world, but also famine of real bread, actually. The thirst of water and the third world war, okay, which is the third woe according to the Bible. Okay, you can type it in, for example, third woe, W-O-E, the third woe. Then you can type in King James Version and you will find the verse talking about the third world war. Okay, so this human-made third world war with, starting with Russia, if you will, is not really human-made. If you think about what the future can basically bring, starting with that, it's a different chapter in a different world time, if you will. Because we are now in the world time of the superpowers self-proclaiming. And ultimately it just means that now these people, the Sedans, have weapons that can destroy a whole nation. Okay. So whoever is delivered out of that nation where the first weapon hits, okay, whosoever is delivered out of these situations, these mass destruction situations and ongoings in the near future, okay, yeah, it's really a lucky and truth-keeping, of course, Hebrew Israelite. So with that, all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Wakakodash Borakatam. Shalom.